Okay guys, as you can see now we have those two values, and now it's time to get some really darkness. Like, we want to choose a spot that's already dark so we know how far we have to take those down, because if we put a value scale up here, this is going to be pretty much a 10 or a 1 depending on where you put the darkest, and this is going to be a 1 or a 10 depending on opposites. So when I'm looking here, I need to really make sure, and notice I'm wearing my glasses now, because now all of a sudden I want to start really defining some of these areas as toward what is really dark and what is light. And notice I'm looking between what I'm working here and here. I'm not trying to concentrate too heavy on, and I'm going to start defining these things out, like around his eye. And like I said in the last video, I'm not going to do is yeah, there we go. And of course I'm still using a shading method. So when I'm doing this, it's a little more controlled now, because I want, when you're looking at that, I want that eye to really pop forward. So I'm going to come here and here to where the nose gets really dark. I can take that down. Again, I'm just trying to control my values, and you can see where I'm looking. I'm always looking at here rather than here, so I can kind of make sure those values are. And a lot of mistake people make is they will look here once and they'll go back to here and they never seem to look back. So those things are always an issue. So if I'm looking here, I can come down to the mouth and it gives me my darkest darks. And I'm pretty happy with my values here, so I'm not going to take those. I'm just going to take the darkest part right there. And now, does this happen overnight when you're working this way? No, it does not happen this way. What happens is you have to practice this. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, and it's not going to be able to do it with one drawing. And so you might as well just accept the fact that if you want to try this, and you want to try it, and you want to notice I'm looking and working at the same time too. So that's also another important element. And I'm using a circular motion with my pencil, so I'm still creating that shading technique. But what I'm doing is I'm not trying to make it dark or as dark as I possibly can, because I can take this pretty much to a point where it's dark, like right here. And you can kind of see the image kind of coming forward. It looks pretty close. It's not too far off. So I'm going to come here. I know that has to go darker right here for that part of his shoulder. So I'm going to come in here, and actually I'm going to stop going there. And also, if you notice, no erasers. You shouldn't have to use an eraser if you've done this. Okay, so now I'm going to start looking at this value out here. Notice I'm not saying the shaded part of his head or anything else like that. I'm looking at values more so than the image. So and notice I'm looking particularly close. If I come here, I can bring in that, use my edge of my pencil. And I haven't even used the blending stump yet. So what you're seeing on screen is pretty rough, but also, I'm just using this pencil like this. I'm not holding it like this, because if I held it like this, that denotes writing or detail. I don't want to do either of those things. What I want to do is just draw. And move around the painting, move around your sketch. Now notice as I'm getting darker here, what you're seeing, I mean the side of his head is really coming out. So I'm going to come over this side because I'm kind of like not really stuck over here, but I want to take this value down. And I'm going to start kind of come straight here a little bit so I can start playing with this value here. So this is just a way of sketching. Also, you see here, now I got to sharpen my pencil again. You always want to have a sharp pencil as much as possible. There are various ways of sharpening. There's one artist, what he does is he uses sanding paper. He uses sandpaper on a block so he can always get that edge. So I'm going to come into this eye now, and I'm going to go ahead and use my, because it's pretty, again, I'm watching for values. And when you train yourself to do this, you're also training yourself to paint, because you're always looking at your reference more so than, I'm going to take that out here a little bit. So as we're doing this, you can kind of see I'm trying to match these values I'm looking at. So I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not trying to do anything more, what you're seeing here. And I see little tiny things in there I can work on. And one thing I notice is my orb is wrong, so I'm going to correct that, because that is pretty pitch black around there, so I'll be able to do that. So what do you think? It's starting to look like a pretty good sketch, and all it is a sketch, folks. It's nothing. I mean, what's the worst that can happen if you muck with this? Come back here. And now I can come out here a little bit, and I'm looking for these little idiosyncrasies that are completely toward Mr. Einstein. Okay, so I'm going to come this way. I'm just going to drop that in like so. And one thing, you know, those laugh lines, oh, see? I'm just going to use my finger there. And, you know, the nose is always a rounded shape, so I can come there like so. I can come here, just take a little bit there. I mean, you can get pretty specific with these drawings, but you have to understand what the purpose of them are. In the case here, the purpose of this is just to study values. So take a person that you know in your life, print it off in black and white like this, and then go ahead and try this. Basically, all we're doing is just replicating. We're not really making it, you know, we're not trying to make it a complete photorealistic image. Because what we're trying to do is just give it the semi-balance of values we see here. And we will be using our value scale here pretty quick. I know, well, yeah, a value scale is going to help you an awful lot. Got a little bit of ruddy complexion here. So when you're doing this, kids, just keep in mind that you're not trying to make an exact copy. You see how I did this, and you're going to come up with something pretty cool too. So anyway, this has gone on for 9 minutes long. I hope you enjoyed this one. Try it. We'll be working on this in class. Saturday, this coming Saturday, we'll be working on it too. So if you want, please come in. I'll have you guys all do it, okay? Anyway, Mr. Bauer's out. Welcome to Art 1.